All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Siege of CNY 2019. This is the 5th annual Siege of CNY, and we are back for a great day of action. Today is what we're going to see more of the Bracket 1 teams. So we're going to start things off with Antwerp Roller Derby, the One Love Roller Dolls, up against Appalachian Roller Derby, Appalachian All-Stars. My name is Alota Sarcasm. I'm here with the Cashman.
Oh, beautiful morning. A great day for Derby to start on a Sunday.
It sure is.
In Rome, New York. Where else do you want to be?
Maybe in bed sleeping, listening to this amazing broadcast. But other than that, I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad to be here with everybody. And this is the Derby-centric of the world right now. Everybody's looking here.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got these two teams. We have Antwerp coming in after a win over Brew City yesterday. Appalachian was defeated by Providence yesterday. Both these teams are going to then play 2 games today. So right off the rip here, we'll do some list of the rosters here in just a little bit. But we are waiting for the first whistle.
Got a Patty Young Thang wearing the star for Appalachian to start this first jam.
And that is Hip Shot, number 89, in the pink for One Love Roller Dolls. If you weren't listening yesterday, just an FYI, Antwerp, or the One Love Roller Dolls, they ran a 2-jammer rotation the entire game. They did not divert from that. It was Hip Shot and Evil X, and I was impressed.
When things work, why change the script, you know?
Like, what do they do for conditioning that their stamina is such that they can do every other bout?
3 hours of Stairmaster every day.
That's why I announce. All right, so Hip Shot took a quick hit to the face there off the whistle, takes it to the outside of turn 1, and is lead. We saw these 2 jammers for Antwerp picking up lead time and time again.
Patty Young Thang did make her initial pass through, is hot on the tail. And a wise decision, calling it off, no score.
Yeah.
Oh, one, pardon, ones?
All right, we'll take it. One
One
scores
score
to start the day.
All right.
So a quick rundown of One Love Roller Dolls roster here. We've got Cherry Mosh Pit, number 07, number 10, Majin Buu, number 13, Evil X, number 2, Freckles, 250, Knick Mops, 357, Dark Pistol, 50, Snow Black, 85, CC Titmouse, 89, Hip Shot, 9, Hunter, 91, Lieutenant Savage, and 93, Dr. G.
And we start the second jam as that started off. Of course, number 13, Evil X.
Yep.
Jamming. Well, we didn't expect any loss from Antwerp, and they followed suit.
All right, looks like she's up against Foxy Thunderclap for Appalachian. Foxy in a heavy jammer rotation yesterday. So 4 points this time around for Antwerp. It's going to bring them to 5.
Appalachian Roller Derby, real quick, All-Star, 01 Public Enemy, 030 Gypsy, she's a captain as well, 0333 E-Gree Juice, number 1101 Nerd Fighter, 15 Autoconda, 22 Tutu LaRue, 23 Foxy Thunderclap, number 31 Bricks Hit House, 35 Bam Bam Becca, 426 Honey Boom Boom, 5 Coco Janelle, number 63 Snatch and Bent, 7 Walker Texas Danger, 7-11 Patty Young Thang, and number 917 Suture Cell.
All right, so back at it here. We've got Hip Shots taking on Public Enemy for Appalachian.
A little fast derby there, too, at the end. Everyone kind of tuning back about 8 years ago and seeing how fast we could get going.
All right, so Hip Shot was able to put 3 points on the board for Antwerp this time around. They are at 8. Appalachian still held scoreless after 3 at 0.
Autoconda is going to try to break that, wearing the star for this next jam.
They're taking on number 13 in pink, Evil X.
As they creep back to the jam line.
Looks like this time around, Suture Self out in front for Appalachian. And, yesterday we saw Appalachian up front more often than not, and we're seeing it again today. They had a pretty good day yesterday, I would say. I mean, like, they took the loss to Providence, but it was still an incredible game, and their defense was just so strong and up front all the time.
I heard that was a heck of a game to kick off the weekend here. Everyone came with their A game. You go back and watch it, I guess, if you want to.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's all there. Thanks.
All right, so it looks like this will be a rematch of Jam 1 as we come into, let's see, Jam 5, Hip Shot versus PYT. Hip Shot's got a 1 to beat, getting a little bit of offensive help from her blocker. She's out in front, lead.
PYT finally makes her way through the pack. 1 more to beat, and no, it's reformed in front of her.
Both teams losing one of their blockers to the penalty box. I think the first series of penalties that we've had so far in the game.
And PYT, 1 to beat, finally through, makes the initial pass.
And with that, Hip Shot has completed a scoring pass. So
Hip
Shot, yeah, able to hold her off, and then great job having her blockers come in and not only reabsorb her, but knock her down and really buy herself some time. Hip Shot's approaching the pack now in turn 3, and PYT's like not even back in play at this point.
That's really smart coaching and smart playing there. Just training to do things like that. Sometimes surprise the announcers at times.
Well, it's just like one of those instances where you just see it done so well, like textbook execution, and that was a perfect example. So it looks like we've had a star pass off to Nerd Fighter for Appalachian, stuck back behind that brace tri-wall of Antwerp.
And Hip Shot kind of eased her way into the pack, kind of investigating which side she wanted to go for, going back to the outside.
She's got 2 blockers coming in and really elevator dooring that Appalachian wall.
It's interesting when she gets in open space, her hands go behind her back, kind of like almost like a speed skater. Oh.
Wow, that was stunning.
Big 360 in the air, getting knocked out of bounds as the jam comes to its conclusion.
I was going to say, I believe that might have been Egregious who was, beautiful. And just in the frame of the camera, so we just were able to catch that. Foxy Thunderclap taking on number 13, Evil X, this time around.
I feel spoiled. I can see the replays here.
Right? It's so nice. All right, so Foxy Thunderclap back out, picking up lead jammer for the second time now for Appalachian with a big lead. Evil X really stuck in there. We've got
Snatch and Bents holding her definitely back. Last person to beat, finally got past her.
This is definitely something we've not seen yet, just this real cohesive Appalachian pack getting their jammer out and then really putting the clamp down on Evil X, who has picked up 4 points, but Appalachian has already completed a second scoring pass.
Oh, beautiful. 360 on the inside line, spin around to get past the pack, picking up 4 on that pass.
So Evil X making up for lost time, skating in stride with Foxy Thunderclap. And it looks like Foxy's getting the call from the bench to just keep it rolling. She's completed another scoring pass, still keeping her on the track, moving her along.
Lots of whistles blowing.
All right, CC Titmouse being sent to the penalty box.
Oh, beautiful move on the inside. Once again, Foxy Thunderclap. Huge jam.
Yeah, it looks like 16 points on the board. That's going to bring them to 18.
Just imagine they started with 2.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Antwerp still in the lead, 38 to Appalachian's 18. 8 minutes have elapsed.
As good as a jam as that was for Appalachian, I will say Antwerp was racking the points up just as much, and it looked almost effortless at times.
Yeah, but definitely Appalachian and Foxy Thunderclap had that momentum and wanted to just stick with it. So this time around, hip shot for Antwerp and taking on Public Enemy for Appalachian.
Hip shot breaking out of the pack, picking up the lead jam.
Pack slowing down there, coming out of turn 2, and then puts the Jets on there across the backstretch, rolling pretty fast out of turn 4. A quick little push out by Gypsy from Appalachian, and we'll have a call off there for Antwerp. Autoconda on the line next for Appalachian in the black and yellow. Evil X in the pink.
Rotating four jam.
Easing back to the jam line with the pack there to start this jam. Autoconda goes from the inside back to the out, gets knocked out of bounds. Not before Evil X picks up the lead jam, though.
Yeah, really took it right to the inside. Like, just laser focus on getting out and was out by turn 1.
There's jammers who can look at the pack, pick where they want to go, and some just instinctively go where they feel they'll get through, and they always get through. And Evil X just did that, just instinctively picked the opposite side. Anaconda was picked. They split the pack in half, and she made it through with no problem.
Yep. All right, so second scoring pass coming around here for Evil X. Star Stash got Autoconda out of the pack, completing an initial. Evil X will call it off after a, let's see, so it looks like just a second scoring pass. So that's going to bring them to 49. Appalachian held scoreless at 18. Thanks again for joining us here live on Twitch. If you're curious about what makes a back block, track cut, or some of our other penalties and rules, you can visit WFTDA.com/new for a downloadable roller derby cheat sheet.
Got PYT with the star for Appalachian. Surprise, surprise. Hip shot.
Hip shot, yeah. I don't even have to look up. I think I can make a pretty safe guess. Hip shot out, picking up lead jammer privilege for Antwerp. And also out, that is Patty Young Thing with a great hit there by one of her offensive blockers who came up and just laid out that one last bit of defense there from Antwerp.
And now we're doing fast derby again. Everyone's racing around trying to not let the jammer catch up. One solitary point. They say 1 is the loneliest number.
I mean, it can be. But if you're okay being alone, really, it could be the best number.
True. We've got Foxy Thunderclap with the star for Appalachian.
Evil X in pink for Antwerp.
Foxy goes to the left, back to the right, trying to find the way to the outside, and breaks through the pack. Lead jam for Appalachian and Foxy Thunderclap.
This is the third time that Appalachian has picked up lead, and the second time for Foxy. Great job there by her. Yeah, I believe that was 917 Suit Yourself, who just kind of created that open channel for Foxy to get through and pick up those 4 points.
It's very early in this game. We're getting the feel-out process. Some people are seeing where they have advantages over the other team, relaying it back on the bench, and they're enacting it when they get out on the track.
All right, so Foxy Thunderclap, who had picked up lead jammer and had already put 4 points on the board, is headed to the penalty box for a back block. That's going to leave Evil X out there skating unopposed, stretch out the pack as far as she could. It's going to be released, and that will be the initial. We'll have a 2-minute jam.
Evil X finally making the initial pass through. It looks like she's a little bit tired, or maybe she's just, she's baiting the team coming in slow like that. I mean, when you jam every other jam, you could be tired.
Yep. And, this defense here from Appalachian is certainly making Antwerp's jammers work.
Almost a beautiful 360 around the 3 wall in front of her, but got reformed in front of her. Very frustrating for the jammer. Evil X out there just.
That apex jump almost successful. Almost being the key word. It's going to be recycled to the jammer line there.
I was going to say, she came out of the penalty box and got up to speed, thought she was going to make it, just fell a little short on that apex jump.
All right, so keeping in mind that Foxy had already picked up lead and put 4 points on the board, that pass means that she'll pick up another 4 points. So Appalachian coming out on top, a total of 12 points in that jam. They're going to be at 30. 4 points, though, for Antwerp will bring them to 54.
Since early in this game, Appalachian kind of changed their philosophy a little bit out there, especially with the defense, and are now catching up. They're getting their jammers free. This is becoming quite the competitive game.
Yeah, you know, it's looks like it's been Foxy Thunderclap that has had the most success. I mean, Appalachian's picked up lead just 3 of the 10 jams that we've seen so far. It's been Foxy who's done it 2 out of the 3 times. She's also the highest scoring jammer. She had that 16-point jam, which is just shy of the highest scoring jam that exists in the game so far. And it looks like we've got an official review for black, and that would be Appalachian.
The Women's Flat Track Derby Association is the international governing body of roller derby. Find out more about how to play, where to play, and about our over 470 member leagues at wftda.com/new. Anaconda with a star for Appalachian.
Looks like Hip Shot was able to stay in bounds after a little knockout there attempt on turn 1.
Beautiful tiptoeing along the outside line. That was nice.
Appalachian wanted a track cut on the pink jammer. Official review declined.
Oh, going to the inside trying to, but getting called for forearms. We have a power jam for Appalachian.
So here's the interesting thing is Bobby Narco, our producer, just told me that the official review that Appalachian was looking for was for a cut track on the Antwerp jammer. This call stood so that there was no cut assessed, but here we are, the very next jam, and Hip Shot sent to the penalty box. So they're going to get the power jam that they were hoping for anyway.
Anaconda making the initial pass, now the scoring pass. Oh, takes a big shot at the end. Snow Black getting hit for a penalty, taking the jammer out of bounds there. And both jammers are back on the track, both picking up 4 on that first pass.
Scoring pass completed for Hip Shot. Things really slowing down here between turns 3 and 4. That'll be Hip Shot. Just kind of hopping around the blockers there for an additional 4 points. It's going to bring them to 12. We've got a star pass there off to 11:01 Nerd Fighter. This is the second time she's taken the star for Appalachian. And that pack speed again increasing as they're rolling pretty quickly through those turns. We'll have another. Yep, looks like Hip Shot was in there for 1 before before the jam ended because we didn't have a lead jammer, it looked like.
We did, and then she lost it due to penalty.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was.
Prime numbers. The scores are both prime numbers.
All right. So I'm getting from Bobby Narco, who's just like so many interesting facts here, that the current score of 67 to 37, both are prime numbers.
If you don't know that, go ask your math teacher.
Timeout pink.
All right, we've got a timeout for Pink.
Back-to-back 2-minute jams.
All right, yeah. So you know, we kind of like always like wonder, what is it about right now that makes a team take a timeout? But they didn't pick up lead. They had their first jammer penalty, and back-to-back 2-minute jams. So you know, if you've got a 2-jammer rotation, maybe it's a good time to just give them both a little bit more of a break.
We saw a little of exhaustion there on Evil X last time she was out there. So I mean, it definitely makes sense to, to catch your breath, maybe get something to drink.
Talk about beer.
The after party.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they were able to partake in some of the beer that we had here yesterday from a local brewery. Was it Copper City Brewing? Because I know that they talked to them on Friday, and many of them, when I was like, so tell me some interesting facts about yourself. Oh, I like beer. So there's definitely a handful of breweries in the area, so that they get to spend some time here.
We have something
they'll
in
be
common.
Satisfied. Yeah, right?
We have something in common, yeah.
All right, Public Enemy in the black for Appalachian, and Hip Shot out there again for Antwerp. Yeah, and this is the first time that we're seeing Hip Shot skating 2 in a row, but again, having that minute break might just be enough of a difference to assess which jammer is best to go out there and reset.
And you might flash back 2 jams ago when Evil X was out there, and it really looked like she was exhausted.
All right, so Public Enemy out in front, picking up lead, and a quick scoring pass, just that one to beat out there, number 50 in the backstretch, Snow Black. Public Enemy, though, picking up 4 points, holding Antwerp scoreless.
Appalachian's defense came to play, that's for sure. And they've really been stepping up this last 5 jams or so, really stopping the jammers from Antwerp. And this has been a beautiful game, and I think it's going to be much tighter as we get closer to the end. Evil X back out there. PYT for Appalachian. Both jammers break from the pack with Evil X getting the lead jam. Get a race back to the pack, see what's going to happen. Quick call off. Looks like no points scored by either team. Foxy Thunderclap with the star for Appalachian.
First scoreless.
Surprise, surprise, Hip Shot with a star for Antwerp. Hip Shot goes to the outside, toes down the line, finds her way through the pack, and gets lead jam for Antwerp.
So Appalachian's down one blocker who's in the penalty box, but should be out shortly if she's not out. There we go, coming out right now. What a hit Hip Shot just took there in the backstretch, sent her flying.
It's amazing. Toe stops were in, the rest of the skate was out of bounds. She is inbounds. That was great.
All right, so Foxy with the star stats should complete the initial pass. Hip Shot, though, is going to take it to the inside of turn 4 to call it off.
Always amazed at footwork.
All right, so got things moving right off this whistle there. We see a little bit of that hit there just in the top right of the screen. That Hip Shot was able to stay in bounds.
Amazing. You can see that, like I said, her toe stops in, the rest of her skates out. Yeah.
All right, Evil X.
In the air out.
Up against Public Enemy. Public Enemy with a little bit of a hit right off the whistle. And it looks like that was enough to just hold Evil X back. Public Enemy picking up lead jammer for Appalachian.
Sidestepping on the toe stops around the outside of the pack to get that lead jam. Oh, big hit takes her out. CZ Ditmouse taking her out of bounds.
Public Enemy pushing forward there in the backstretch. Evil X is also back there, but behind the Appalachian wall that is in the back. She finds an opportunity to escape, puts 4 points on the board. Public Enemy still in the thick of things in turn 3. Pack breaks up just a little bit, but that is going to be Cherry Mosh Pit there up in front, working to hold her back, as well as Majun Bu.
You almost forgot that Genemy had lead jam there and gave up 4 points, or it looks like 8 points before calling it off.
Yeah, I think she really just got stuck there in turn 3 and wasn't able to find her way out. And in the meantime, we had Evil X, who was able to make her way through, found an opening, and that was kind of the big difference. official review pink this time around.
Hey, we're happy to have you with us today for this fantastic tournament live on Twitch. Like what you're seeing, join us for the Watch Party Wednesdays, where we air content from the 2018 postseason every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on the WFTDA's Twitch channel.
All right, and up next at the 11 o'clock game, we're going to have Bruce City versus Providence. Bruce City, who was defeated by Antwerp yesterday afternoon, and Providence, who took the win over Appalachian. We had the kind of like the bracket 2 teams playing 2 games yesterday, so they'll just be playing 1. So just to give you the full rundown if you don't have access to it. So right now we're about 9.5 minutes from halftime in the Appalachian versus Antwerp game. At 11 o'clock is Bruce City versus Providence.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
It's going to be good.
I'm going to be here for that.
Yeah.
I'll probably be cameraman, hopefully.
Nice. That's a good vantage point.
Yeah.
And I promise that I'll make sure that everyone pronounces it as Mila Lowlife and not Mila Lowlife. I think I was the one who fell into that, and I apologize. That's the worst. I never show my face in Providence, I guess. 1 o'clock, Green Mountain versus Jersey Shore. 3 is CNY versus Burning River, and we'll get to the rest later.
Looking for a track cut, no call stand.
Patty Young Thang also getting out of the pack, very quickly picking up the lead jam for Appalachian. PYT going down the inside line, doing some hops and making her way through the pack, picking up 4 points on that pass. I like the hops she did. It was like multiple hops. I mean, I was going to say Easter's coming, bunny hops? Yeah, maybe not.
All right, so, I feel like Appalachian is really kind of coming into their groove. Picking up lead jammer. You see that hit there on turn 1.
And a little hop there, too,
Yep.
coming around the inside. You watch it real closely. She did like 2 of them. There and there.
See, and I love it because you're watching Appalachian's jammer, and I'm watching hip shot just like get knocked to the outside and then knocked to the outside again. It's good that we have complementary perspectives. All right, so quick work of the pack. Evil X is out, lead jammer, but also out is Foxy Thunderclap.
Yeah. Just held for a brief second there and then broke free.
We had Nerdfighter held back there by the Antwerp blockers. Great move. That's going to let Evil X pick up 2 points on that pass. Call it off quick.
Pack was getting spread out a little bit there. It was smart to call it off.
And just a little bit ago when the Antwerp team took their official review, they were looking for a cut track on Appalachian's jammer and the call stands, which was a no cut. So I was talking before this jam started just about it seems how Appalachian is finding their momentum. In the first 10 jams, they only picked up lead 3 times and were held scoreless in a majority of those jams. But since then, that was kind of when we had their official review, and then Antwerp took a team timeout. They've come back. They've picked up lead slightly more often than Antwerp. Oh, no, it looks like 3 and 3. Okay. And they've each been held scoreless a couple jams, but they've been able to put more points on the board since that official review timeout type situation.
And their defense has been playing a lot better, too.
Mm-hmm.
Antwerp's having a much more difficult time getting through that pack at times.
All right, so Public Enemy taking on Hip Shot. Hip Shot out easily by turn 1. Public Enemy still held back there by 0-7. Cherry Mosh Pit.
Just zigging back and forth across that pack, trying to find a way around, now going to the outside. 1 to beat, and Enemy makes the initial pass through.
Looks like folks kind of flat out there in turn 2. Tutu LaRue, the 1 to beat. And Hip Shot does so. He's able to put 4 points on the board. That's going to bring Antwerp to 85. Appalachian at 52. 7 minutes left to go.
Good to get Autoconda for Appalachian here in this jam.
First jam for number 15 since jam 11.
All right, yeah, we haven't seen Autoconda out there for a bit. Seems like their jammer rotation might not be as stiff as it was at first, but we've got Evil X out there for Antwerp. Lead jammer's going to go to Evil X.
I think Evil X gets down in that crouch position. She sneaks her way through that
Yeah,
pack.
right? Impossible to see,
Yeah.
despite that bright pink jersey with the city skyline. All right, inside of turn 2, so easy. 4-point pass.
Lautaconda making the initial pass to the pack. Now coming up to score. Calling it off. Lautaconda tried to gain some points, and didn't quite make it. But Evil X picking up 4 and 8 for a total for that jam. Patty Young Thang, or PYT, as it says on her jersey, number 711, wearing the star for Appalachian.
Yeah, and her number is 711, it looks like, because her birthday is July 7th, and she weighed 7 pounds, 11 ounces when she was born.
All right.
So she's up against a hip shot, no surprise there. Hip shot is out, picking up lead jammer for Antwerp. And hip shot has been skating for 8.5 years and has skated with Team Belgium at the World Cup in the past. So you see that experience really shining here this weekend. And I would imagine anytime she plays.
Sure. I can say World Cup competition is unbelievable. And if you saw any of the games last year, it was exciting. It's probably the closest one we've had since they've started with the United States over Australia.
All right. Evil X, number 13 in pink for Antwerp. Number 23 in black, Foxy Thunderclap for Appalachian. Foxy's pushing forward, and again, able to stay in bounds up. Nope, taking that back. So I would imagine that lead's gonna come back. She's gonna be sent to the, there we go. So Evil X's lead, and Foxy being sent to the penalty box for that cut there in turn 1. Forced to the outside.
Blocker following in there. We have a little 5-on-3 with derby action now with Antwerp with the numbers in their advantage. Evil X having a pretty easy time getting through a 2-wall there, picking up 4 points on that pass.
And this is one thing that Antwerp has been successful in doing a number of times, is just holding back that one blocker in a power jam where they've got them, they control where the pack is, so that out of play comes pretty quickly because the rest of those Appalachian blockers are just going to follow the jammer out.
That's smart play, too. There, once again, good coaching.
It's one of those things that, again, you can practice, but you may not always see in action. And, again, they're just able to execute these textbook things so cleanly.
A lot of friends of mine who play in the game say as soon as the whistle blows, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to find organization in that chaos.
So here in the replay, we see just a nice little easy spin. Just Evil X makes it look so simple.
Amazing thing is she ended up on the outside line, starting from the inside with the spin. Hip shot getting lead jam there right off the whistle. Got 3:15 left in this first half. Public Genemy making an initial pass through. Oh, little hop through the pack there, calls the jam off. That was it almost looked like she slingshotted herself over a teammate to get past.
All right, so get a chance to take a look at that.
Oh.
Yep.
Whoop. Turning into Bob Saget, putting sounds in when I see things. Patty Young Thang with the star for Appalachian. But Evil X gets lead jam.
So a quick look at our tracking. This is the third time in the last 4 jams that PYT has been out. We're in the star for Appalachian. So 2 points on the board for Antwerp. They are at 111. Appalachian held scoreless 54. Just under 2 minutes left to go. Looks like we've got Antwerp in a pretty significant streak of lead jammer privilege here. About 7 of the last jams, they've picked up lead, and they've held Appalachian scoreless in 6 of them.
A big push till the halftime. Gonna make that lead as big as they can get it. And then I'm guessing the 2 jammers are going to rest for a few minutes.
Right, just a little bit. So hip shots out of the pack, approaching it in turn 1, looking to put points on the board. We've got Ataconda still unable to complete an initial pass, not really making it past turn 1 at all. Star in hand, now is able to take it to the inside of turn 2. Almost completes that initial, but is knocked inbounds.
Ataconda thought she had a way around the inside. Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, that 1 to beat.
Yeah, 1 to beat, and boom.
Yeah, it seems like it's number 7, Cherry Mosh Pit, who just, you know what? Either that or I'm having a little bit of a hard time
Hip
with
shot.
all of like the long blonde.
Sure.
I get confused between Cherry Mosh Pit. It looks like I think CC Titmouse and Knick Mops.
Knick Mops, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
So we're coming into the last couple seconds here of the period clock.
They will have the jam.
All right, Evil X, quick work on the outside of the front stretch, picks up lead well before turn 1. We've got Foxy Thunderclap still in the pack. I was mesmerized by the Appalachian, the Antwerp pivot, who was just like pulling a matrix move in an effort to stay inbounds on turn 2. But it looks like those last 4 points picked up by Evil X will bring an end to the first half.
It's amazing. 2 seconds as the jam starts. By the time she made it through the pack, there was no time left on the clock. She could have called it off any time.
All right, well, so here we are in intermission. Rolling whistle means that it is official. Antwerp Roller Derby 1, Love Roller Dolls 127, Appalachian Roller Derby, Appalachian All-Stars at 54. Myself and Cashman will be back in just a few minutes. All right, so it does say CC Titmouse for Antwerp, but that is incorrect. We actually have Hip Shot out there.
And Hip Shot would be the first to tell you that. Wait a second.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I had made the mention earlier that all of the blonde ponytails really confused me, and it apparently has confused the lineup trackers as well.
4 points put up on the board by Hip Shot to start the second half.
The first half, kind of like continue with the recap, 25 jams in total. Appalachian was held scoreless in 17 of them. Evil X up for Antwerp. Foxy Thunderclap for Appalachian. Evil X with a quick switch to the outside and then cut to the inside before turn 1, picks up lead. Fox is going to get knocked to the outside on turn 1, regroups and comes in against a 2-wall there from Antwerp. Stays in bounds in turn 3 and completes an initial.
That beautiful move by Evil X there. It looked like she was on 2 wheels on their skate as she hopped from the inside to the outside of the track. It was very fluent.
I was going to say, Evil X able to pick up those 4 points there as she comes around turn 3. Yep, there we go. Just that hit there by number 93, Dr. G, who actually is a doctor.
Really?
Yes, a physician. Yes, works in orthopedics. All right, so Hip Shot once again for Antwerp, out of the pack by turn 1. Public Enemy wearing the star for Appalachian. One to beat there and has completed an initial as well. Hip shot takes it to the outside of turn 2. Completes the scoring pass with a quick call off.
Yeah, that was a moving pack as she came up to it. There was nobody was standing still, that's for sure. Made her way through it, called it off. So those initial first few jams of first half and second half, you get that feel out process going on, and Antwerp is getting the feeling that same thing they were feeling at the end of the first half. PYT with the star for Appalachian. A lot of action going down there at the pivot line to start this jam. Got to change it up every once in a while. Still, Evil X makes it through the pack. Oh no pass, no penalty. We will not have a lead jam, at least from Evil X.
I was going to say, I would imagine Evil X probably got caught up there with at number 426, Honey Boom Boom, right on the corner.
It's a beautiful call off by PYT there as soon as lead was determined. Still, Evil X picking up 3.
All right, so yeah, we see that on the replay there when PYT takes it to the inside of turn 2, picks up lead, and then is able to call it off, as Evil X had already been out of the pack but had not picked up lead.
She was just approaching too. Oh, timeout last second.
Yeah, timeout. We did not have a black jammer.
All right,
Appalachian not fielding the black jammer.
Yeah, but I guess able to call the timeout just in enough time so that they could address that. I think that might be in part Foxy is just off the side of the track here. Might have still had the star on, so I think that might have been just a little bit of the confusion.
Not enough stars.
Looks like she's getting something taped up.
And so while we've got this time out, I know it's Sunday morning. I know some of you might just be getting up and trying some breakfast. Here at the Siege, we have a couple of breakfast options that we consider stunt food. So we gave it a try this morning. There are banana cream frosted flakes. It's an interesting flavor, which Beautiful Banshee mixed with some chocolate milk to get that chocolate banana cream flavor. She said it worked fairly well.
You would think it couldn't be worse for you, but then you put chocolate milk on it.
Right.
So,
And it's still milk. It's still milk. There's calcium and vitamin D in there. Okay. But yeah, so a good mix. Any of you out there who have that cereal in your pantry, give it a try. All right, so Public Enemy number 01 for Appalachian taking on Hip Shot for Antwerp. And it looks like it's going to be Public Enemy out in front, picking up lead. Star stash there for Hip Shot. Haven't seen them have to use that too often here.
Appalachian pivot going into the penalty box with forearms.
I was going to say, looking at the track, the pack rather, that's still out on the track, there's not much. So I'm interested to see what the lineup's going to look like here for both teams.
Appalachian did pick up 4 before that got called off, so still Foxy Thunderclap over here getting something taped up still being held out of the game.
All right, so not much of a pack at all out there for One Love. Just one blocker, so we've got to have 2 in the box and 1 standing. Evil X is going to have her work cut out for her. But it looks like she just lets the pack move her through, and she is out picking up lead.
She actually used the Appalachian defenders against themselves as she was out there, and they both, 2 of them took each other out as she got by.
So we've got Patty Young Thing out on an initial. Just about a quarter of a track to meet the pack, but Evil X through will pick up the 4 points and bring Antwerp to 146.
It's
Appalachian 58.
Impressive. 5 against 2, and Evil X still gets the lead jam.
First jam of the half for number 15.
Number 15, Ataconda out there for Appalachian in the black and yellow. First time that we're seeing her here in the second half. Hip Shot, number 89 in pink. Hip Shot pushing forward with a brace tripod there. Tutu LaRue in there and those fanciful blue leggings.
Snow Black trying to give her a path through that 3 wall in front of her, but getting knocked around.
And it looks like she's going to get backed up to behind the pack. Meanwhile, that's going to give Appalachian the opportunity to get out of the pack and complete that scoring, or complete the initial, rather.
And Hipshot just called it off to be safe.
That last jam, just the second time that Antwerp has been held scoreless here in the second half. They were scoreless in just 4 in the first.
I think a couple of those were called off by them because it was a tie with the jammers coming up to the pack. So
we've got Evil X skating with the star for Antwerp with a quick hit from Public Enemy once the whistle blew. We've seen that from her a couple of times. But again, it is Evil X out in front, picking up lead for Antwerp.
I think Genevieve wanted to let her know she was there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's all good.
This is why we like a little space.
Yep.
All right, Evil X little hop skip around the inside line. Looked like almost like a mini apex. Picks up 4 points on that pass.
Appalachian losing their pivot to the penalty box for a back block. I mean, technically it would be a black block because they wear black, so
Sure.
therefore just putting a little color on it.
Let's look at this.
Yeah, watch this. It's a little coming around the bend. Ba-da-doo. Not a full-blown, super high in the air one, but it's still effective nonetheless, picking up 4 points on that pass.
It still requires a higher level of control that I'll ever have.
Yeah.
I can't do that in shoes. Hip shot going up against PYT.
Still not seeing Foxy Thunderclap back out there.
Lieutenant Savage being sent to the penalty box on a direction. We've got Hip shot out of the pack, picking up lead. PYT about a half track behind her. Pack is coming together right now with a lot of offensive help there from Antwerp's blockers. I like that little swoop down from PYT coming out of turn 3. Doesn't get her any points, but it looked good.
See it here in the replay.
So yeah, we're gonna go call it off and then
Whoop! It was like London Bridge is falling down.
All right, Evil X for Antwerp. Number 23, Foxy Thunderclap.
And Foxy makes it back out after having to get taped up in the MASH unit over here near us.
Yeah, her initial pass was made so much easier by her blocker there, Pivot Nerd Fighter, number 1101, who's being sent to the penalty box for a cut track, but really did a great job of just pushing Antwerp's defense off to the side and offering Foxy a free pass there in turn 1.
Want to shout out to Derby Mom for Cherry number 7. Her daughter's playing right now.
Pink jammer cut. 2 minutes in.
All right, it looks like Evil X being sent to the penalty box. And, keep in mind that Foxy Thunderclap has lead jammer, so she'll pick up those 4 points on that last pass, call it off, reset, get a fresh team out there, and try to maximize on that power jam.
She has at least, I would say, 27 seconds in the penalty box still, so
Yep.
they're gonna get some time out there in a power set.
Official review pink.
All right, so official review being called by One Love Roller Dolls.
Dollars to donuts for challenging the track cut call.
Dollars to donuts, Bobby says.
Dollars to donuts.
I'll take both.
We want to thank you for joining us here live on Twitch. Curious about what makes a back block, track cut, and some of our other penalties and rules? Visit WFTBA.com/new for a downloadable roller derby cheat sheet. I ought to do that one of these times. I'm not really sure. No.
It's always one of my favorite things when, you are announcing a home bout and you're on house, and it's like, who's never been to a roller derby before? And you always get at least 1 or 2 officials who raise their hand. That's good. Really sets the tone for the evening.
And our officials are brought to you by our local Reed Eye associate. No.
Oh, man. No, but we've had some great official teams out there this weekend. I know that we have the roster here. Just got to find it, and we'll get that to you at some point during this game.
Yeah, we've got people listening from Belgium right now. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, so it looks like that official review that Antwerp had taken was to, as Bobby said, dollars to donuts, to look at that track cut that was given there to Evil X, but the call will stand.
So we'll be in a power set to start this next jam for Appalachian. Public Enemy wearing the star.
That last jam there from Foxy with 8 points, the highest scoring jam on the Appalachian side. And it looks like that's the max that Antwerp has scored in the second half as well. So really not a high scoring second half by any means.
I love some of these messages we're getting. I think nobody knows the rules to roller derby. Everyone's just winging it, even the refs. Okay. No. I think, if anything, the rules are the greatest they've been since I've been involved with this sport right now. Yeah, I think it's streamlined. And
well, we were talking about that just yesterday, because during one of the games, someone had gotten, a track cut and then an insubordination, and just like the minute penalty was just like, how did we do that before?
then minors.
Oh, man. The good old days. All right, Public Enemy out there in a power start. And really, we talked about pretty much a good 30 seconds there because that track cut happened just at the end, and I don't even think that she was seated yet. So Public Enemy out with lead. Pack there in turn 2. Takes it to the inside with just 1 to beat. Looks like that is CC Titmouse there. Does so, picks up 4 points.
Beautiful. It looked like she fell out. CC followed her, but she's allowed to keep continuing on and picking up that 4.
We've got Evil X out of the pack and completing an initial, but coming out of the pack just at the same time is Public Enemy. Public Enemy with an additional 4 points on the last pass. Public Enemy's going to get knocked to the outside of turn 4.
Big shot to the outside on Evil X. Has to be recycled back behind the pack.
All right, Public Enemy is going to lose that lead jammer privilege by having a back block there right in front of us here.
Uh-oh.
Really a series of penalties that either folks are coming out of or being given there. So that penalty box really seeing a lot of work right now.
Every time one comes out, it seems like one goes back in.
Yep. Yeah, Evil X, so out there unopposed with 2 blockers on her behalf, but it looks like Appalachian has all 4 blockers out there. Tutu LaRue with a big hit there on the front stretch. And then just a solid tripod there in turn 4. One of those instances where you just catch the hit right and you realize that it's a good thing that some of those jammers do wear the face shields.
And Tutu LaRue kind of directed her out of bounds. Oh, big hit. Public Enemy.
All right, so it looks like we've got both jammers, it looks like, headed to the penalty box at this point. Evil X, I believe, being given a penalty, but coming off of turn 2, while that was Public Enemy kind of
may have been
having
a
it
back
right
block.
here.
I didn't see it exactly, but it happened right at the end of the jam.
Pink was blocking with the head.
Okay.
Either of the ones on Appalachian.
So we're starting the jam with both jammers in the penalty box.
All right, so an official timeout. You know, I only ever saw one jammerless jam, and I want to say it was Boston versus Rocky Mountain at the Shriners Auditorium, and I was new to Derby, and I just didn't know what was happening.
What would you expect? Nobody's going to move.
Yeah.
It's like.
So I just remember whoever I was with was just like, yeah, this doesn't happen very often, but it does, and it was just the most painful thing. to watch and wait.
Oh, definitely. And we're going to get about a quarter of a second of that here, because as soon as this next jam starts, when the jammer will be released immediately.
All right, so the rolling whistle will bring us back. Should have the 5-second call in just a moment. So no jammers on the track right now. But there we go, racing out of the box.
Both jammers released immediately.
And it looks like that was, I believe, Agree Juice there on turn 1, trying to take Evil X out of bounds. But Evil X and those toe stops able to stay in to pick up lead. Pack incredibly stretched out right now. Moving into turn 3, now into turn 4. A quick hop by
beautiful.
Evil X over the hips of Agree Juice. She'll call it off and put 4 more points on the board.
She was midair putting her hands on her hips. That was beautiful. Getting the replay right now from. Don't think we're going to. Oh, nice.
All right, so it looks like a team timeout, Pink.
So this is our first game on Sunday. This is the first. We're starting with this high-quality derby to start the last day of Siege of Central New York 2019. Got some great games ahead. Next up, Bruce City versus Providence.
Yeah, Bruce City, who was defeated by Antwerp, and then Providence, who was victorious over Appalachian.
Then Green Mountain versus Jersey Shore. We saw an incredible game last night to end the day with Green Mountain in Central New York.
Yeah, what a nail biter right down to the very end.
CNY had a 30-point plus lead with like about 4 minutes to go, and that disappeared to the point where Green Mountain won that game by, I think it was about 8 or 9. It was a very close game, so it was a very...
It was fantastic to watch. And, you know, 2 teams that are pretty, you know, obviously we've got the home league, but Green Mountain, who's really close. Just a couple of hours up to Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah, I went and talked to their merch table after the game just because I was curious. They said they're from Vermont,
Yep.
and they're around here a lot. And
All right, so 5-second call. We've got Hip Shot up there against PYT. Hip Shot with the push up in front. And, you know, the outside of turn 1 really working out well for Hip Shot and Evil X. Big pile up there in the front stretch. We'll see how things will shake out.
I hear whistles, but I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe a low block in that.
Yeah, I think it was a forearm. Yeah, for Lieutenant Savage, number 91.
This is a forearm as well.
All right, so another forearm. PYT being sent to the penalty box. So we are in a power jam for Hip Shot, who is currently surrounded by Appalachian blockers. 1 to beat. That is Snatch and Bent. He's got to let her go.
Hip Shot skating sideways around the pack, 1 by 1, defenders bouncing off defenders to get around that and pick up those 4 points.
Antwerp with just 2 blockers out there, one of which Cherry Mosh Pit, and then also Snow Black. Hip Shot coming around slow as the pack is in turn 1, moving into turn 2. Again, not much in the way of blocker assistance on the track in general for Antwerp. Lieutenant Savage is out of the penalty box.
Pretty impressive the way Appalachian, as soon as PYT came out of the penalty box, Appalachian put their offense into play and just turned into like a wedge into the pack, full speed wedge, and got her through the pack pretty quickly.
All right, so it looks like blocker from each team starting in the penalty box. So 3-on-3 with Evil X taking on Foxy. Foxy's going to take a hit that's going to bring her to the ground. While she's getting up, we've got Evil X through for lead in Antwerp.
Foxy Thunderclap shaking that hand that's all taped up now. Injury that happened earlier in the second half here.
We're currently in Jam 14, and Appalachian has picked up lead just 4 of those 14 jams. Antwerp losing their pivot to the penalty box on a forearm, while we have a suture self coming back out of the penalty box for Appalachian.
Beautiful footwork by Foxy Thunderclap to get the initial pass through that pack. Almost looked like a dance step she was doing. She was hopping up and down, moving around. She's still shaking that hand.
Do we have rankings for how everybody came in, ranked 1?
Yes. We have a whole sheet of that.
Appalachian coming in ranked 95 with WFTDA. Antwerp 101.
They're up at the top.
Hip shot taking on Public Enemy. And it looks like Hip shot being sent to the penalty box. Missed the penalty, but we do have Public Enemy out in front, picking up lead. That's the 5th time here in 15 jams. Fast-moving pack, looking to move forward here in the backstretch. Public Enemy being pushed to the outside of turn 3. Number 50 there, Snow Black, who was looking to force the cut, and it was like right in front of the camera, and I love it because she tries to pull her back, and it like doesn't get the cut that she's looking for, and like just looks at the camera. I was like, what? Like,
it almost like she went into the Thriller dance from Michael Jackson, you know.
But then the thing is that she recovered from that so quickly. It took a little hop of turn 3 herself to come back out and have some impact there on Public Enemy.
Yeah, you didn't need to speak the same language to know what she was saying when she was out there.
Evil X and PYT ready to take the line.
I will say an interesting. Antwerp, they're doing the 2 jammer rotation, but when they have to, they play fast derby too. So it's like everyone on that team is in incredible shape and incredible conditioning, because all of a sudden they'll just take off and go full speed just to slow down the scoring of Appalachian.
Yep. All right, so it's 8 points put on the board that last round from Appalachian. That's going to bring them to 87. Antwerp held scoreless at 193. About 12 and a half minutes left to go in the second half here. Appalachian only held scoreless 3 out of 15 jams.
And 7 in the game. Appalachian's been held 28 scoreless 28 times in the game.
All right, so Bobby was just telling me that Appalachian has been held scoreless in a jam 28 times. Between the first and the second half, and we still have 12 and a half minutes left to go. And was it 8 times that? 7 for Antwerp.
And 17 and 11. I'm going to go find out the official review.
All right, so we're going to get some word on the official review.
So we are going into our 16th jam of the second half. How many jams do we have in the first half?
We had 25.
So it's 41 jams so far, and 28 of them were scoreless. That's incredible.
Yeah. The thing is that it's I know that announcers will say it, but it's one of those games that doesn't feel like that's what's happening. It's a lot of the second half especially. It's been a lot of hit it and quit it, quick points, call it off. The highest scoring jam in the second half is 16 points.
There was a track cut assessed at the very end of that jam on the jammer. It's been rescinded. They retain their review.
Okay. And that was, I'm going to get a clarification on the review. Bear with me.
Appalachian had a track cut called on them at the very end. They challenged it. They won. So they retained their
Evil X making her way for first 4-point pass after picking up the lead jam. PYT still looking for that initial pass. Well, sitting on the penalty box, you're not going to get it. So it is a power jam now for Antwerp. Another 4 points racked up on the scoreboard for Antwerp. PYT out of the penalty box. Now we're back to 2 jammers. full strength, both teams. Evil X there going one-on-one with the blocker, kind of getting tied up for just long enough for PYT to get back to a scoring pass, but calling the jam off. 4 more 12-point jam for Antwerp, breaking the 200 mark.
All right, so I was just talking to Bobby about the official review that was called by Appalachian at the end of the previous jam. And what had happened was number 01, Public Enemy, was called on a track cut just at the very end of that particular jam. And Appalachian challenged that, said that she had called it off before she picked up the track cut. Upon official review, that was removed. So they retained their review.
Nice.
This time around, it is, let's see, that is Hip Shot and Autoconda. Hip Shot already out, picking up lead, and now in a scoring pass, takes to the outside of the backstretch and calls it off with 4 points. Autoconda completes an initial, but unable to put any points on the board.
Antwerp's 2 jammers very, very fast. Once they get open space, they're through it in fractions of a second. They're around the track and scoring on you before you can even get through the pack. Unfortunately, that's what just happened for this last jam with Autoconda there.
Up next, Evil X and Public Enemy. Little crisscross pattern as the jammers try to figure out how to get out of that pack. Stretching out between basically the middle of the front stretch and into turn 2. Evil X got knocked to the infield and recycled back. She's getting a little bit of offensive help there from number 9, Hunter.
Now trapped in a 3 wall there, just having difficulty.
And it looks like Public Enemy being knocked out of bounds and recycled back into turn 1. She has picked up lead jammer privilege, though, for Appalachian.
Yeah, she got by, then knocked out and had to come back. Call off anytime she wants now.
Honey Boom Boom being sent to the penalty box for a forearm, but it looks like a high block on Public Enemy. So being sent to the penalty box, has lost lead. Evil X is out there for 2 minutes. So she's coming around the turns 1 and 2 a little bit slowly. And that's going to allow both teams to kind of set up their formation. And as soon as Evil X comes into turn 3, that pack takes off. And it looks like both teams knew that they wanted to move fast, so it wasn't like one was following the other. It was a mutual thing. Evil X is through, though, on a scoring pass.
I'm guessing what's going to happen again here as she comes around. You see slowly the pack start picking up speed as she's getting closer and closer. It's good philosophy to kill some time on the clock here without calling it off.
Evil X, again, so smart on her skates there on the outside of the front stretch. A little bit of offensive help from number 357, Dark Pistol.
And Titmouse there just taking Public Enemy down here, keeping her back behind the pack. She can score. She just wasn't able to get through the pack to score.
All right, team time out Black. They were held scoreless in this last jam. They're at 86. Antwerp Roller Derby, One Love Roller Dolls, 8 points on the board, brings them to 217. 7.5 minutes left to go. Thanks so much for joining us this weekend for this WFTDA recognized tournament. Also happening this week, the Euro Cup, hosted by Rainy City Roller Derby. So a big shout out to Beatrix. I hope all is going well, and I'm sure she looks fabulous. And then also this weekend, it looks like Skate to Thrill, hosted by the St. Chuck's Derby Chicks in St. Charles, Missouri.
All right.
So I know you said all eyes are on Rome this weekend, but unless you got 3 eyes, we might have to.
Yeah, Cactus Cups in Arizona going on at the same time.
You could start watching roller derby this morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
All right, so we could start watching roller derby at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Watch all day long.
All day long.
And go until about 10 o'clock tonight.
And go until 10 o'clock tonight.
Tournaments.
Man, that's a lot. It's a lot of breakfast cereal, like pizza delivery and beer. Yeah.
And we don't feel any pressure because we're the announcers. No.
Well, at least we're not the only ones that people have the opportunity to listen to today. There's
True.
some good folks out there. All right, so PYT making quick work of the inside front stretch, picks up lead, and, Hip Shot still stuck in the pack, escapes out of turn 2.
They tend to get lead in
It's a nice move by PYT there, just continuously moving up that inside line. Oh, getting called for a penalty. Back block for PYT.
Yeah, and this is back-to-back. Leads picked up by Appalachian and then leads lost. So another 2-minute jam. This time it'll be Hip Shot. A hard hit there by Briggs Hit House, taking out Lieutenant Savage right in front of us on turn 4.
While playing the sport, you have to have eyes on both sides, in the front and back of your head, because things like that happen where you get taken out by another blocker, not even knowing they're coming. It was right in front of us.
All right, so Hip Shot's got an additional 4 points, so 8 points so far on the jam. PYT out of the penalty box, met by a tripod in turn 2. Just a series of whistles being blown there on the backstretch. And ultimately what's going to happen is Antwerp is going to lose 2 of their blockers to the penalty box. So we've got number 10, that is Majin Buu, and I believe Dark Pistol, the only 2 blockers out there for Antwerp at this time. So Hip Shot really having to work a lot harder with a big hit up high there from number 63. Snatch and Bent being sent to the penalty box for a high block.
That's why she went down so quick, because it was such a high block.
All right, so PYT, 4 points on the board, an additional 4 points by Hip Shot. There we go. I was going to say, we got to be coming to the end of that jam clock, and there we are.
Remember, PYT started the whole thing with getting a lead and then going to the penalty box.
All right, so there we go. Failed apex jump there from PYT.
Yes. The jam was ending either way, so might as well go for it.
Right, and if it gets you a point, gets you a point. Anaconda wearing the star for Appalachian in black, Evil X in pink. A quick jammer penalty for number 15, Anaconda. So yeah, 3 jammer penalties in a row, and actually 4 jammer penalties in the last 5 jams for Appalachian. And it's like one of those things, this is the first game of the day. Each team does have a second game to play today.
Sometimes you're your own worst enemy, and that's what happened. And I think penalties are rather like catching the flu. You get one, the next person gets one, you start passing it around, everyone's getting penalties.
Right. And just like being sick, that's not the thing you want to happen.
Definitely not.
A great attempt there by Egregious to take Evil X out on turn 1, but again, Evil X with those smart feet stays in bounds, picks up another 4 points.
Yeah, she was using her posterior to try to knock her out.
Anaconda with the push forward. That completes an initial after coming out of the penalty box. Evil X through on another scoring pass. She does have lead jammer privilege and is going to use that to call it off. So taking a quick look at the scoreboard, I know that is not right because it says that Appalachian picked up 86 points in that jam, and that would be the most recordist of records ever. So many points that I missed all of them.
86 points. You'd have to move at the speed of light, I think, to get that many.
Oh, now they moved it up to 87.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always good. Point adjustments.
I think we're going to get a timeout from this in a second.
Looks like they scored 87 points.
Right, yeah, exactly. They've basically doubled their score.
So they started the
That's
jam
correct.
with 9, apparently.
Yeah. All right, so about 3.5 minutes left to go in the second half here of this game.
We're
Antwerp,
having fun.
yeah, 2:45. Appalachian, we're still just waiting for like the final count on that.
I'm believing that the score is correct. The jam score is incorrect.
That would mean they picked up 1. That sounds about right.
So taking a look at the track, we had so many penalties in that last jam. And it looks like the way that that has shaken out is that there's 2 blockers from each team and both jammers are out there. All right, hip shot number 89 in the pink for Antwerp.
Foxy Thunderclap back out there with her taped up fingers, goes to the inside line and picks up the lead jam for Appalachian.
Yeah, Evil X knocked to the outside of the front stretch here. Able to get herself back on the track pretty quickly and really closing up that gap between her and Foxy. Foxy approaching the pack in turn 3, going to take it to the outside and denied, while hip shot makes her way through for a quick 4 points. Foxy Thunderclap had picked up lead and then was sent to the penalty box on a cut. So another lead loss. They've really run into a lot of jammer penalty problems. 4 jammer penalties in the last 5 jams. And again, with Foxy having picked up lead and then losing it, hip shot is out there for the full 2 minutes. 4 points on that last pass. Just 2 blockers out there for Appalachian. All 4 blockers for Antwerp coming into turn 3 ever so slowly. Hip shot's going to take it to the inside and get knocked to the infield. A forearm is going to be assessed there to the number 31 coming around. That is Bricks Hithouse.
Appalachian down to 3 with 2 blockers and a jammer out there.
I really enjoyed, I know that I was quiet for a bit, but I really enjoyed that. We had hip shot just kind of like skating around, like very slowly kind of catching her breath. And as she comes around turn 4, looks at the pack in front of her, puts on a little bit of speed just before she hits turn 1, and it's like the inside just opens wide up for her. So a big scoring jam, 16 points. And I think we're going to add a couple more. So 18 points on the board for hip shot.
I loved how everybody shifted to the outside line, left her nothing but the inside to go on. Not nary a touch did she make as she went through.
So 18 points, that's going to bring Antwerp to 263. The 4 points for Appalachian will bring them to an even 100. We're coming into the last minute of the game.
Tries her own individual high jump.
All right, so power start there for Evil X. Again, looking to take it to the outside of turn 1. Cuts back in, picks up lead. Looks like we've got all the blockers out there, but really spread out between turn 1 and well into turn 2. Foxy coming out of the penalty box, star in hand. Pack moving pretty quickly there. Again, that is Dark Pistol doing some great defensive work for Evil X to open up a space for her to get through to pick up 4 points.
Yeah, it was beautiful. She gave her just enough so she could hop over around her back and pick up 4 points on that pass. Now we're back to full strength on both sides. I don't know if she'll be able to get the inside line like that. We are coming down to the last few seconds of regulation time, though we've still got a minute of jam time going on.
Foxy has completed an initial pass. We've already got 8 points on the board for Evil X. Coming around into the front stretch, entering into the pack. Will call it off from the middle of it. An additional 1 singular point. It'll be a 9-point finish for that jam. Looks like unofficial final. Antwerp Roller Derby, One Love Roller Dolls, 272. Appalachian Roller Derby, Appalachian All-Stars at 100.
You know, if we didn't see the score, this is felt very evenly matched out there through the whole game. Very consistent play by Antwerp, though. You know,
Definitely. They've got a goal, and I think that's to win the siege here. And it looks like they could be well suited to do that. They've just got really one to beat, and that would be Providence coming up at the 5 o'clock game today. Providence, though, ready to take the track for the next game against Bruce City. And, you know, where you talked about the 2 teams being evenly matched, just a quick thing. Appalachian ran into so much jammer trouble there in the second half, like the very end of the second half. So they're going to have to get that under wraps when they take on Bruce City for the 7 o'clock game to close out the weekend.
Yeah, so got to stop stubbing their own toe when they get out there. They would get out, and you can't start a jam, have it going immediately with a jammer going to the penalty box.
All right, so thanks so much, Cashman, for joining us. Thanks to Nerd Derby, as always, and Bobby Narco, our producer. I'm a load of sarcasm. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We will be back probably in like 20 minutes or so. Follow the stream and you'll get a notification. So, you can do that. But we will be back. We'll stop the stream for now. We will see you on the other side.